We've been very lucky. My mother was the Queen for a very long time. And although you kind of know that this might happen, you don't really think about it very much.
When Princess Anne stepped forward with a sealed message from Queen Elizabeth, no one could have predicted what would follow. But the moment she opened it, everything changed.
We don't know yet. I mean, there was an order to the years because my mother didn't change very much.
Inside was a handwritten letter that the late Queen had hidden away, meant only for the moment she knew would one day come. The subject was Princess Catherine, and the content was so explosive, so deeply personal, that it reportedly sent shockwaves through Buckingham Palace. Even King Charles was left visibly shaken.
But I think for my brother, this is something he's been waiting for, and he's probably spent more time thinking about it.
This wasn't just a touching farewell or a royal blessing. This was a warning, a revelation, and possibly a final command. So what did Queen Elizabeth really think of Princess Catherine's role in the future of the monarchy?
We kind of knew what the rhythm of the year was, so things like that will change, and how we are part of the support for the monarchy may change slightly. Who knows?
Why was this message buried for so long? And now that it's out, what does it mean for the royal family as we know it? Stay with us, because once you hear what was written, you'll understand why the palace may never be the same again. The royal family's year of trials, cancer, uncertainty, and a nation holding its breath. You probably already know that the past year has been extremely difficult for the British royal family. In early 2024, King Charles received a devastating diagnosis: cancer. After weeks of swirling rumors and mounting public concern about his health, Buckingham Palace finally confirmed the news. Although the palace did not release detailed information about the type or stage of the cancer, it became clear very quickly that the diagnosis was serious. The king had to scale back many of his public appearances and prioritize his treatment, marking a major shift in the rhythm of royal life. The royal family's challenges didn't stop there. A few months later, Catherine, Princess of Wales, shared that she too had been diagnosed with cancer. She made the emotional announcement through a carefully prepared video message, revealing that she was undergoing preventive chemotherapy.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery.
Catherine's diagnosis struck a deep emotional chord, not just in Britain, but across the world. She is seen as the future of the monarchy, and her health introduced a level of vulnerability to the royal family that hadn't been seen in generations. As both the King and the Princess of Wales stepped back from the spotlight, the royal family's public presence grew noticeably thinner. By December 2024, King Charles addressed the nation in his annual Christmas speech, a moment that carried even deeper significance this time around. Speaking from the historic Fitzrovia Chapel, the king acknowledged the personal and collective struggles of the past year. In a heartfelt message, he praised the selfless doctors and nurses who had supported him and the Princess of Wales through the uncertainties and anxieties of their illnesses. It was one of the most personal Christmas broadcasts by a monarch in recent memory. Earlier that day, King Charles was seen greeting crowds at Sandringham as he attended Christmas Day services, along with other members of the royal family. While the rest of the royal family greets the public with warmth, one member has made a decision to hide his face at every cost. And the reasons behind this move are truly shocking. Andrew's disappearance. Andrew's link to Epstein remains one of the most damaging scandals in the history of the British royal family. The 2019 interview, where he failed to convincingly explain his relationship with Epstein, left him with few options. His demeanor was widely criticized for being detached, and his explanations were vague and unconvincing. The backlash was immediate. In response, Andrew stepped back from his royal duties, a move that was widely seen as a necessary retreat to protect the monarchy's image. But stepping back didn't mean stepping away from the consequences. Despite his departure from public life, Andrew's controversies continued to haunt him. The scandal only deepened with time. Prince Andrew's financial troubles have only added fuel to the fire. Reports surfaced of mounting debts and secretive attempts to sell off assets to stay afloat. His financial dealings have raised suspicions, and with good reason. The royal family, despite its wealth, has often kept its financial affairs private, but Andrew's lack of transparency has raised serious questions. Then came the revelations about a Chinese businessman allegedly working to build ties with Andrew on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party. The man was reportedly barred from entering the UK.
A Chinese businessman who had established close links with Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, has been banned from entering Britain on national security concerns,
further complicating Andrew's already shaky standing. Though Andrew denied any wrongdoing and claimed he had severed ties with the businessman once suspicions arose, the timing could not have been worse. This scandal added yet another layer of trouble, making it clear that Andrew's past associations continue to haunt him. And as if things weren't bad enough, the connection to foreign interests only added to the mounting concerns about his behavior. But it didn't end there. On April 27, 2025, Prince Andrew was spotted in public once again, making a rare appearance at a low-key event. After months of avoiding the limelight, his re-emergence surprised many. Accompanied by his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, Andrew's public outing reignited the debate about his place within the royal family. Though they divorced years ago, the two remain close, and their shared appearances only add complexity to the narrative surrounding Andrew's position. While this brief return to public life might not signal a full return to royal duties, it certainly raises questions about the future of the Duke of York. Meanwhile, the royal family has been left to deal with the fallout. Prince Andrew's absence from major events, like the Sandringham service, has not gone unnoticed. While other royals were busy greeting the public, Andrew chose to hide away, his absence speaking volumes. The family, already grappling with the challenge of modernizing the monarchy, couldn't afford to have Andrew's scandals detracting from their efforts. Royal historian Ed Owens summed up the dilemma perfectly, that King Charles has spent the past 2 years trying to reshape the monarchy's image. But between two high-profile cancer battles and the lingering fallout from Andrew's behavior, that mission has become far more complicated than anyone expected. But behind all the headlines and drama, it's Princess Anne who has quietly kept the royal family standing. Princess Anne's quiet strength. Princess Anne, now 74, has long been seen as the most consistent and hardworking member of the royal family. She is more than just a sibling to King Charles. A royal aide described her as his most reliable confidant, someone he has always trusted, especially during difficult times. Without her support, Charles would find it difficult to manage his responsibilities as king. Anne's reputation did not build itself overnight. From a young age, she carved out her own role within the monarchy, separate from her brothers. As the second child and only daughter of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Anne was raised under intense public scrutiny. But she was never one to seek the spotlight. Instead, she focused quietly on her work. By the time she reached adulthood, Anne had already developed a strong sense of duty that defined her career. One of Anne's earliest passions was equestrian sports. She became an accomplished rider, and in 1976 made history by competing in the Montreal Olympic Games as part of the British equestrian team. That achievement alone set her apart from other royals of her generation. It showed a willingness to push personal limits, even when she could have lived a life of ease. Outside of sports, Anne also built a reputation for hard work through her charity engagements. She has been associated with over 300 organizations across her career, often focusing on causes like healthcare, education, and international relief. One of her most significant roles has been with Save the Children, a charity she has supported since 1970. Over the decades, Anne visited some of the world's poorest and most dangerous regions, raising awareness for children's rights long before it became a popular issue in royal circles. Her approach to charity work was always direct. She never treated these engagements as photo opportunities, and as a result, earned deep respect both at home and abroad. Unlike many other members of the royal family, Anne rarely gave interviews or sought media coverage. Her straightforward attitude often made her seem distant, but within the family, she became known as someone who could be trusted absolutely. Queen Elizabeth II often referred to Anne as her rock, a description that seems even more fitting now as King Charles leans on her during his health battle. Anne's personal life has also shown the same resilience. She married Captain Mark Phillips in 1973 and had 2 children, Peter and Zara, who were raised without royal titles at Anne's insistence. She wanted them to have as normal a life as possible. Although her marriage ended in 1992, Anne remarried later that year to Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence. Through all these personal changes, she kept her professional obligations steady, barely missing an engagement or event. Today, even in her 70s, Anne maintains one of the busiest schedules in the royal family, consistently carrying out more engagements each year than her younger relatives. Her approach remains the same as it was when she started. Duty first, attention last. She rarely shares private feelings with the public and dislikes drama, preferring to focus on the work in front of her. In a time when the monarchy faces public skepticism, Anne's style has become more important than ever. She represents continuity, tradition, and a type of royal service that feels increasingly rare. As time passed, Anne became even closer to her brother. In fact, Charles himself has opened up about just how much her support means to him. It is no surprise, then, that her bond with King Charles has grown even stronger during the past year. After Charles was diagnosed with cancer in early 2024, the royal family's sense of stability was shaken. Charles, already facing the heavy responsibilities of his role, found himself leaning more on the people he could trust without hesitation. Anne was at the top of that list. According to a report in Woman's Day magazine, a royal aide said that during a private conversation, Anne promised Charles that she would continue her work to support him and the monarchy. That conversation left Charles in tears, overwhelmed by her loyalty. The aide explained that Charles was grateful for her support, but also worried. He did not want Anne to feel trapped into working because of his illness. He can't bear the thought of his sister sacrificing her own plans for his sake. Yet at the same time, he found deep comfort in knowing she would be there beside him. In private, he is simply overjoyed that she'll be there with him until the end. Despite the emotion of that conversation, Anne stayed true to her character, reportedly telling her brother, "Dry your tears, buck up, and get on with the job." Throughout 2024, Charles has tried to maintain a steady public presence. During an event in Walthamstow in December, when a member of the public asked him how he was feeling, Charles answered bluntly, "I'm still alive." It was a rare moment of dry humor that hinted at the private strength he continues to show. However, his treatment is ongoing. Sky News reported that Charles's cancer therapy will extend into 2025, while palace officials have described his condition as stable and moving in a positive direction. They confirmed that his treatment would continue for the foreseeable future. Despite this, Charles has insisted on keeping a full schedule of public engagements, including appearances during the festive season. Palace insiders have said there is a strong sense of optimism about the king's health, but they also acknowledge that this optimism is closely tied to the strong network of personal support surrounding him, which is a network anchored firmly by Princess Anne. And while King Charles III was still finding his footing, one unexpected revelation managed to leave even the monarch himself without words. A message from Queen Elizabeth. During a private family gathering at Buckingham Palace, that is exactly what happened. In a moment few could have predicted, Princess Anne quietly revealed a hidden message left by the late Queen Elizabeth II. Before her passing, Queen Elizabeth had spent time observing Catherine closely. Elizabeth, known for her careful judgment, understood the importance of strong, stable figures in the monarchy's future. Over the years, she saw Catherine evolve from a new royal bride into a figure of quiet strength, grace, and dedication. While much public attention stayed focused on the immediate line of succession, Elizabeth privately considered Catherine's role as critical to the future of the royal family. This private belief, held closely during Queen Elizabeth's later years, was finally shared when Princess Anne brought it to light. Anne revealed that Queen Elizabeth believed Catherine would become more than just the wife of the future king. She believed Catherine would be essential in holding the monarchy together during times of change. The revelation carried special weight because it came from Princess Anne. Known as the hardest-working royal, Anne completed 457 engagements in 2023 alone, maintaining a schedule that outpaced every other family member. Her experience, dedication, and standing within the royal family gave her words additional authority. At the time of the gathering, Princess Catherine officially ranked 8th in seniority within the royal family, behind more established members of the firm. However, Anne's revelation placed a different light on her role. Queen Elizabeth's message challenged the traditional expectations of succession and hierarchy, suggesting that the monarchy's survival would not depend solely on bloodlines, but also on character. Prince William, long prepared to inherit the throne, was not the focus of this prophecy. It was Catherine, who stood at the center of Queen Elizabeth's vision for the future. Throughout her years as a working royal, Catherine has earned admiration for her composed public appearances and her commitment to causes such as early childhood development, mental health awareness, and family support initiatives. However, her contributions at home have often gone unnoticed by the wider public. Princess Anne made it clear that Catherine's most important work wasn't always visible at public events. While Anne carried out hundreds of engagements annually, Catherine was focusing on raising the next generation of the monarchy. She and Prince William made a conscious choice to prioritize Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, ensuring their upbringing was rooted in stability, kindness, and resilience. Anne stressed that Catherine's focus on her children was not a personal decision alone. It will be a long-term investment in the strength of the monarchy itself. By giving her children a grounded and happy childhood, Catherine was shaping future leaders who would be prepared to meet the demands of royal life with genuine compassion and strength. The bond between Princess Anne and Catherine has grown stronger over the years, based on mutual respect and shared values. Anne found in Catherine a royal who understood the importance of quiet strength. Princess Anne has provided valuable advice to Catherine, helping her navigate the unique pressures of royal life. From managing public expectations to balancing family and duty, Anne's experience has served as a steadying influence. Their connection is built on genuine trust, reflecting a common commitment to service over personal ambition. When Anne revealed Queen Elizabeth's private words about Catherine, it was a clear signal that the monarchy's future would rely as much on personal character as on official titles. Queen Elizabeth's judgment was shaped by her own long reign. Having witnessed the challenges of public scrutiny, political upheaval, and personal loss, she understood that the survival of the monarchy depended on adaptability and emotional intelligence. In Catherine, she saw someone who embodied these traits naturally. Catherine's journey into royal life had not been simple. From the moment of her engagement to Prince William, she faced intense public attention. She managed that pressure with composure, building her role gradually, without seeking the spotlight unnecessarily. Over time, she became one of the most respected figures in the royal family due to her steady, consistent work. Even during recent periods when she has stepped back from public duties due to health challenges, Catherine's quiet influence has remained strong. She has demonstrated that leadership in the royal family does not always mean standing at the center of every photo or headline. Reports have indicated that as Catherine returns to public life, she plans only subtle shifts in her approach. She will continue the steady course she has always chosen, reflecting the same values Queen Elizabeth admired. And while the late Queen Elizabeth had always placed great expectations on the future queen, it seems that the Princess of Wales has decided to live up to those hopes. The princess steps back in. After stepping back to focus on her health, she has made the brave decision to return to public life. As she quietly fought cancer, Catherine stayed true to the calm and dignified image she built over the years. Now, as she re-enters royal duties, even the most respected members of the family, like Princess Anne, have stepped forward to praise her strength. Catherine's path into the royal family has never been simple. Long before her marriage, the media followed her every move. Despite constant attention, she handled the pressure with quiet strength, building trust with the public. This year, when Catherine disappeared from public events, rumors exploded. Speculation about her health and personal life filled headlines. What few knew was that she was privately dealing with a cancer diagnosis. She chose privacy, facing her treatment away from public scrutiny.
The Princess of Wales has revealed that she is finally in remission a year after doctors discovered she had cancer.
Showing her signature grace even through the toughest days. Now, with therapy behind her, Catherine prepares for a careful return, stronger and more admired than ever. Princess Anne did not let the moment pass without offering praise. In fact, her words about Catherine first surfaced in her 2020 documentary, Anne, the Princess Royal at 70. But they have found new meaning today. Anne described Catherine as the most dignified princess she has ever seen, and praised the diligence with which she fulfills her duties. Coming from a royal veteran who has spent decades representing the crown with tireless energy, Anne's praise carries real weight. Anne also highlighted the challenges faced by younger royals. The pressure that is applied to the younger members of the family. It's always worse. That's what the media is interested in. That's hard sometimes to deal with, she said. Anne admitted that in her early years things were different. There was no social media before, noting that online pressure today makes royal life much tougher. As Catherine returns to her royal work, experts believe she will stay true to her polished style, but with a few subtle changes. Meanwhile, Catherine has been handling her own set of pressures in 2025, particularly in light of the ongoing drama surrounding Meghan and Harry. As tensions between the Sussexes and the rest of the royal family continue to make headlines, Catherine has been notably careful in her public appearances and statements. In contrast to Meghan, who has frequently used interviews to express her frustrations with royal life, Catherine has remained more reserved, allowing her actions to speak for themselves. The Prince and Princess of Wales broke their silence on the ongoing royal tensions just days after Meghan Markle's bombshell interview. Issuing a joint statement ahead of their 14th wedding anniversary, William and Kate sought to move beyond the headlines and focus on their royal duties. On April 28th, the couple shared a video compilation from their visit to Tobermory, Isle of Mull, which was set to coincide with their anniversary on April 29th. The post captioned, "Looking forward to arriving in Mull tomorrow for 2 days celebrating and connecting with rural island communities in the beautiful Inner Hebrides." The timing of their message felt like a direct response to Meghan's latest podcast appearance, during which the Duchess of Sussex made headlines with her surprising confession about her writing plans. In her first ever podcast appearance on The Jamie Kern-Lima Show on April 24th, Meghan discussed the possibility of writing her own memoir following the immense success of Harry's Spare. I think people are often curious if I'm going to write a memoir, but I've got a lot more life to live before I'm there, she said. Though she is focused on projects in hospitality, food, and entertainment for now, Meghan did leave the door open for a future book, leaving the public eagerly speculating about what might come next. Being part of the royal family might sound like a life filled with wealth, luxury, and fairy tale moments, but the reality is far more complicated. Behind the grand palaces and public smiles, there's a daily battle with pressures, scandals, and non-stop public scrutiny. But what do you think about all these ongoing controversies? And how do you feel about the way Princess Anne and Princess Catherine are holding the family together through it all? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think.